success have they?
I really haven't been sold yet. I don't know what this recipe really means. You've got too many star players now, and you don't have enough people to fall back onto. And Snacks doesn't seem to be really going to the role efficiently as we were quite hoping for. I'm not sure. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, this could be one excellent game. I love Dust 2. It's my favorite map to cast.
It's the Big Ben and Snacks has a pen. It doesn't quite work the same, does it?
Work on it.
I'll get back. No, I can't because it's under scaffolding for like the next 2 years.
It is kind of ugly right now.
Yeah.
Not ideal. Either way, Sunny, he'll be in towards lower B. There's the Xbox smoke, and Sunny, he should be able to get at least one here. Doesn't quite connect the headshot, though. Has to fall back.
I'm surprised he gets away with that. The Xbox smoke actually allows it. They couldn't continue to fire into him. They'd also gotten good damage onto Oscar, which pushes them back down Catwalk. So now Tarek, made in America, can start to take over Catwalk and get a little bit of stance for MIBR to work with. Sunny did well to get away, all things considered. Smoke will now cover off his vision once more, accompanied by a flash in which he read that he's got the wide side of the smoke, which means he's got Stewie. Somehow they overlooked that position, didn't anticipate it at all, and Chris J and Oscar come to blows on Catwalk with Tarek and Fallen successfully from mousesports. They'll now be up 5-0. Wow. Snacks and Rops. Was that a team ace? It was. All 5 players getting a kill.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. One thing I will say about Dust 2, I've watched a few games with Snacks on this particular team. He is actually very strong on the ace side. On Dust 2, one of the maps he actually looks pretty decent on, I would say. So mousesports could be able to steal this one away. Definitely going to be a close game, I think, anyway. Can't believe this could lead to a 0-2 situation, though. We've got FaZe waiting down there in the doldrums right now, and another team could be joining them as well. Exciting stuff, and it will be the force buy from MIBR. Deagles sees as 1 PT50 for Fallen. He is a bit more conservative, obviously wanting the AWP going forward. Snacks will be deploying the incendiary. So on the A site, he normally does this. He'll smoke the later stages and then play up close. Even with the M4, he'll get right up to those doors and try and listen out. He sometimes jumps on the barrel to create a sound cue and try and bait them out. But this is very, very classic for him. Oscar going to be baiting Chris J. Wants to show as much presence as possible. Fall back towards spawn. And Snacks, as usual. Let's be fair, if I know it, MIBR know it. They're going to be checking these angles. But Sunny is at the back of the line. You can see him just checking that straight away, taking him down. Maybe a little bit too obvious at this point.
Backs away, though, on the M4 toward the car. So Snacks gone. Sunny does ample damage. Tagged down to 59 himself. Has Oscar to support. Chris, meanwhile, out toward middle, needs to be effective in collecting Tarek. Does so with the MP7. Did you play much for the MP5?
Yes, I did. I spent 2 days grinding it out.
Just with the MP5?
Yeah, like casual server is the only way you could use it. I actually really enjoyed it. It's quite sentimental, but at the same time, it's just a slightly weaker MP7 with a silencer.
It always was. The statistics from 1.6 even showed that, and everyone was like, "Oh, bring it back! It's so great! It's so great!"
It was a lot of fun. It felt different. I don't know what it was because it was different meta in general. It was like you could play anti-eco rounds very effectively. You didn't really take them over to gun rounds, though. It was normally just a round 2 and 3, and then you get rid of it.
Ooh.
Wow, that's not bad from Sunny. That car position proving to be very strong these days. Pretty much clean sweep there from mousesports. Gave 1 kill away. That's Snacks going down to Tarek. Remember, they knew what he was doing there. Like I said, if I'm aware, then they certainly are of his tendencies. So it will be 2-0 MIBR now with the full eco. Not really much they can do with this round. There's Tarek and Stewie. The current major champions, I should add.
Yes, they are, having transferred over from Cloud9, one of the many changes we've had since the last major.
Just to be clear. But yes, came from Cloud9, now part of this Brazilian project. Yanko now signed as the coach as well.
Yeah, our boy, formerly the analyst, now the coach standing behind them. A big change in his career and line of work. Pretty cool.
It's so cool and bizarre at the same time, right? Someone going from the broadcast role right involved to the coaching side of the game. It's certainly a cool thing. But this should be quite a simple procedure now, as Chris J, very proficient with the MP7. I'm a bit sad the MP5 didn't make it for the major.
Yeah, it would have been interesting for them to try and inject that into the major just for the hype around it and whatnot. This collects out on Tarek. But it is not to be. Cold, Fallen, Fur, Stewie, Tarek. The only lineup in existence currently that has 5 major champions on it, however, never teammates in doing so.
Yes. Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
It's kind of an interesting point. Kind of gives you the state of things.
Yeah, no, exactly. It shows you exactly it's just been such a strange year in terms of roster transfers and people. I think obviously a lot more money being involved is a big catalyst for it all, and some of the huge transfers we had, but some crazy teams now available in the CSGO landscape. Either way, AKs are out. Fallen's actually got Galil. So he was saving for the Orb. Remember, he actually took a conservative second round, but I guess the lack of utility and the lack of success with no plants means they've had to take a few compromises here. Sunny, such a strong aimer. Happy to hold positions by himself and get multiple kills while doing it. You'll see him towards CT spawn and especially short. Watch out for him there. When they change their setup to a more short focus, he is very good at playing behind those steps right there. So let's see how this transpires. A execution's very viable still. The meta and execution hasn't really changed on Dust 2 ever since the beginning of CSGO. Those executions towards the A site are still ringing true today. B splits are still a big part of the game. And
yeah, it hasn't changed the meta much. This
no,
makeover.
It really hasn't. There hasn't been any revolutionary strategies or tactics implemented from what I've seen so far. Maybe we'll see a few more at this event. People definitely working on it.
Fallen. Back off, so too. Sunny on the other side does the same behind the smoke. Cold Zero still waiting for the flames to extinguish, our third of the top 3 players in the world, and the third of which that's playing in a 0-1 matchup today. He's going to try and take the helm through middle. But the gap in the smoke. Sunny gets one. Fallen trades it back. It's further, goes down. Bomb drop temporarily. They'll recover that. Fallen to do so. And Cold still wants to touch it off. Shadow shows. Robs can't find the great entrance from Stewie as well. Toward B. Remember, B and Stewie. 6K, as it were, in Brazil. That was pretty insane. An ace in about 3 seconds, killing himself inside the flames while taking everyone down in front of him in the most chaotic of situations.
That was actually really cool. This was a great round from MIBR. There we go. Clean sweep. No one really fighting back at all on the mousesports side. All players survive. MIBR with the B split. As we said, very common strategy still, and they've got a bit of a variation there. They throw the smoke to the left-hand side and towards CT spawn, as you can see right there. So it takes vision away from multiple CTs, and then it's just about hitting his shots at this point. And Fallen and Stewie have no problem doing that. Tarek watching the flanks, that's a great position to be in. He's watching out for people pushing long and indeed short as well. So that's actually very important to note, that he was watching both those areas. Double AWP set up for the first time though, Matt. That's where the game really begins. They were going for a long take here. They might still commit. All 5 players outside of long right now for MIBR. Good smoke from Snacks. Like we said, he likes to play up close and personal here, but he might find himself in a spot of bother. Hasn't been his best in the fragging department recently, and it won't get any better just yet, as he'll go down quickly to Fur. Unlucky with the flash, but he was by himself. No real setup there, just standing in the open and seeing whether he could get one before going down. Not that compelling. Now they have long control. Cold Zero now watching for the flanks. They don't have to overcommit to this. They can drop the smokes like this and just wait to see what the reaction is. They've done 2 smokes in the crossover. So is this a massive fake, or do they wanted to actually commit to this? They are going to start probing towards the A sides. Need to be crossing the next 5 seconds or so just to make sure they have time. They are going to let those smokes go down. Interesting, okay.
Double smoke. Gap in it even still, but they'll get across before any threat comes from that, before Sunny had position on the ramp down below. He wants to play the backside of the smoke, potentially get flashed through when the bomb plant does occur. Nade up to weaken Stewie, but as nades work in CSGO, it lands beside the box. There's the flash and the take from Sunny. He's traded out immediately by Tarek, who holds off the car, and that is the signaling for save on the mousesports side, as Christian wants to keep the up. So too does Oscar. Double up setup on Dust 2. We mentioned it is extremely powerful in the right situation, and they don't want to give that away too soon.
Great stuff from MIBR. Very simple procedure at the start. Decent spawn, didn't necessarily commit to it. All 5 players outside long, waited for the initial grenades to come through, flash over, allow 30 with the first pick, and Snacks didn't really put up much of a fight there. And they get that kill. They baited out the grenades. I think that was the initial idea with the 2 smokes of crossover, just to bait out reaction, see who would try and push down, flash through, and get a kill. Maybe even suggest it is a fake. Then smoke it again, go through together, and it all works out very nicely in the end. Well played. 3-2. That's MIBR will be up against the 2 saved AWPs this time. Robs to the M4 as well. Will Sunny and Snacks commit to the force buy and join their teammates here? Yet to be seen. I'd like to see them get more than just a default pistol at least. Sunny with a P250, Snacks with nothing. Gonna stick on that USP. It'll be boosting them up at the start, I guess. And they'll try and push for a kill towards short, maybe boost up the AWP and look towards lower B. That's where Fallen's heading. So let's see if there's anything there for Oscar and Snacks.
So far, nothing to be found, but Fallen gets down, after which they gave up the position, and Oscar was looking up middle instead of down below where he should have been. So MIBR finding the opening pick yet again. Ops are still in play because Snacks is able to pick up one from Oscar after it was dropped. Chris J was spotted. He's aware of that now as they fire back in, and Fallen standing by once again, rotating all the way from under back toward T-Spawn. Is able to catch him retreating to middle. So great dynamics once again from Fallen. They talked about how shifty he was on Inferno yesterday, doing it again here on Dust 2. So 3-on-2 in the score, 5-on-3 in the situation. Double op back in the hands at least for Sunny. Manages to get through the door and get away with it.
So much time, such an advantage for MIBR. It would take an absolutely monstrous performance from the two players that aren't necessarily associated with the AWP on this team. Snacks definitely capable, as he's demonstrating right now. This is much better. Looking for his third right now. There is a gap as well. coldzera knows it. He hits the third shot. Doesn't get the kill. It's right at the kneecap there. So at least they do cross towards the site. And somehow Snacks has given them the advantage here. And even more so now. Tarek will drop. coldzera 15 HP. Snacks looking to finish it in style with the jumping shots here. Can't get carried away. You're up against coldzera. Definitely capable of converting these sort of rounds. Diffuse kit available. Flashbangs too. coldzera waits patiently. Surely got no say in the situation here. Will be taken down eventually. It would take something absolutely wonderful here. Sunny will finish things off. It's Snacks to save the day at 3 versus 5, converted in mousesports' favour. And I wanted to build that up in the way I did because Snacks in VP was known as the more chaotic AWPer within the squad. There's nobody Pasha doing the primary AWPing. When Snacks picked it up, you knew some fireworks to go off. He's going to go for something super aggressive. He's certainly capable of hitting crazy shots, as you saw just then. Knew he had to find something there. That one was pretty standard, but it got very exciting at this point. Then he hits the crosser in the kneecap. That was it just there. And then goes for the jumping shots.
And the remarkable aspect of that is that the double op was gifted essentially to mousesports twice. They actually killed it twice. They one on catwalk, you couldn't really hold them off of it, but the second one at doors, Fallen's already rotated off along. They're able to grab it again. Now it wasn't Snacks that picked it up, but it was still a 2-op setup toward the end of the round, and it's pulled back by mousesports 4-2-2. Oscar holding the wall as Tarek tried to go very quickly toward long. They'd gone unchallenged at the cave, but carelessly through the smoke, and Tarek has fallen down already. That was upon as we were looking at Fallen's point of view, Henry. Just thought I'd point that out for you.
It's always good to do that, just in case
it makes the jokes so much better. The good jokes are the ones you have to explain.
You have to explain every single time, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this means you're smarter than everyone. They just don't get you.
Well, that's obvious.
5-on-4. Tarek does go down initially. Oscar starting to get warmed up now. Fallen looking for the response. It looked like he nailed the shot, but it went for the corner of the wall, I believe. Either way, Oscar, 20 HP, will live to fight another day. They'll commit towards long. One flashbang over. They have got the smokes to cross as well as the flash. It's a commitment. Snacks with the incendiary. Doesn't actually...
Yeah, not far enough. I don't think any of it went through. Got extinguished on detonation. Stewie does get down Oscar as a result of crossing over, and Oscar was not ready for the position. Sunny wants to retake from long, but caught with a nade out, not ready for the gun. Fallen times his peak to perfection. And it's now the man advantage with a bomb planted to MIBR, looking to recover for the last round. As Stewie holds the bottom side of the ramp, they've got Elevator watched from above at Goose. And together they converge. Stewie's able to take down Chris J. Even still, Cold was on top of the site. And it's Rops to try and stay alive. 1 versus 4. No op being carried over this time, and I don't even think that M4 will make it. As Cold firms, it's now 4-3. MIBR making up for the last one, you could argue. And a small, it's not a reset in terms of overall rounds, but it is a financial reset in some ways for mousesports.
Back and forth we go. 4-3 mousesports. Certainly comfortable on Dust 2. We've seen some great games from them in the past, but Fallen, this suits his playstyle absolutely perfectly. mousesports will buy him to the round somewhat.
Sunny could afford the op, so they've elected to force around it and give it to Oscar.
Wow. Now Oscar's going to have to deliver here. Like I said, I haven't been super impressed with him the last few months. 2018 has been a great year for him, don't get me wrong. I think he's a fantastic player, as he does find the first kill there. Stewie Walking it down first, and Oscar wanted a little bit more, but Coldzera, he's even smarter by the looks of things. 2 kills for him. Very fast reaction, great aim. Snacks can't replicate it. And now a 4 versus 2.
Oh, no. He's low on HP. Oh, he's barely going to get out of that. He's forced forward. He has to fight Cold as 10 and nearly gets taken down by his teammate. I said smart because I didn't think Oscar would actually be given the chance to run away as Rops tries to go aggressive on the B side and spots out Fallen. And posting back up at the stairwell, if they chased him, they wouldn't have spotted him, and he may have got the shot off. But Cold, you're right, was one step ahead of that, quite literally, as he shoulder baited out the position and then took down the shot on Oscar. So that was very well done.
Indeed.
Even if Fur wanted him to die. Was it Fur that threw that? No, I don't think it was Fur. I think it was actually Tarek. Either way, bomb remains planted on the A site and shall remain planted on the A site. That is how the cookie crumbles, as you would say, Henry.
As I would definitely say. 4 on 2, and mousesports saving the M4 UMP combo this time. No double orbs, I'm afraid. And speaking of which, MIBR have got one. It's one of the few maps where double orbs are actually quite viable. You've also got the gap opportunity at the very start. Then have one of them head towards B tunnels, one of them hold middle/long. No problem, that works. I have no issues with that. And they might have thrown it away, I'm not sure. They are distributing weaponry out now. That's Coldzera getting it done towards shore. That first shot to take on Oscar especially. Ooh-wee. Not bad at all. 4-4. MIBR waking up. Now there's a secondary orb, so it was carried over. And we'll see if they can get some damage done. Not going for the double gap shot actually. It's going to be Coldzera trying to use a quicker spawn. Fallen aware they could be going towards OB here. Actually, 2 players make their way in, trying to pincer towards the tunnel tip. But look at the defensive positioning from Tarek. There goes what these boys do all those things. That's how you should be positioned, exactly like that in this sort of round. You do not want to be in the tunnels. One flash and you could be absolutely wrecked. You have full control from T-spawn and you have no danger of dying.
There he is, walking back and forth behind his troops.
Oh.
They've decided not to show you his face anymore and just his body. No longer in illustrious suits. I wonder what he's going to do with all those suits now.
That's the problem, isn't it? He's probably got about 20 suits he's used for broadcast. They really are.
I think he should go all out and be the coach in suits.
That's a good idea.
Just do it. Well, another round going to MIBR.
Football coaches and stuff, they wear the suits and the touchline and stuff.
Football coach. Oh, sorry, you're thinking real football, not American. Yeah, sorry. So the American game that's not played with your feet at all and is actually played with pigskin, which there's something about in the Bible that if you play with a dead pig, you should go to. Anyway, they don't. They wear like Bill Belichick and stuff. They wear like windbreakers and stuff. Yeah. But hockey, they wear suits.
I think that'd be quite a cool idea. Look a bit weird, I think, in CS initially. That is an interesting idea. Either way, MIBR looking very comfortable now. Last few rounds they've run away with. Money's been a bit of an issue for the mousesports side, but they have saved an AK here. There's Fur, Coldzera, and indeed Fallen. The Brazilian troops within MIBR and then the North American counterparts there. So we get into round number 10. Double orb setup still for Fallen and Coldzera. Now these are the sort of setups, when you're the in-game leader or even the coach, you probably haven't prepared for specific setups when you have double orbs. But it's definitely, you get a bit hyped when it starts coming through. It's just something about it on Dust 2, it just works. You can hold individual angles and just work your normal defaults, and it's a little bit difficult to handle on the CT side, especially when you've got Christiana scouts for going through his flight path here towards short, but Oscar needs to be flashed off, and indeed he is. Perfectly done. MIBR dissecting the map now as they have short control. Didn't go for long this time. Christian, not the orb. He's got the lesser of the sniper rifles with the scout. It's a bit more mobile, but does significantly less damage. Needs a headshot for a kill. As we look towards another B approach. Contact towards B is very viable in this version of Dust 2. You can just walk in and overwhelm the CTs on the other side, especially if they jump up like that and offer themselves up. Fallen plucks Chris J out of the air as he tried to get towards the platform. That could be the round in itself, because they have no real say in this. Look at the utility, or the lack thereof, for the CTs map. They can't really justify a retake here with just one kit and one smoke, one flash. I think they just have to save.
One of the hardest sites to retake in the game, in my opinion. The B site is so hard to get back into. without utility especially. So yeah, it's 4 players still up. It's 9 alive in the round. Bomb just now planted, and we've already reached the conclusion in terms of where the score is going to be set. It'll go 6-4. What we don't know is how many guns will make it that far. As Fur's taken down by Sunny, waiting on the ramp. No one else really that close as of yet to take guns away, but Cold getting aggressive with the op, gets tagged and dropped.
Certainly does. coldzera taken down, but the spirits of MIBR are still high, as it's now their 4th round in a row on the T side of Dust 2. I'd say it is more T-sided if you had to ask me, but Dust 2 has always been one of those enigmatic maps. It's really difficult to see what the rules are. Anything goes, really. It's a real brawl, spawn-based gameplay. So 4 players from mousesports survive, only 2 for MIBR, but they take the round victory. Nice little B approach there. Like I said, as soon as they got that 1 kill, you couldn't even justify going for the retake. But saving the weapons actually looks quite promising now. They've got a double AWP set up, an AK, 2 M4s. mousesports should be in a better position now, but look at the decent spawn. And can we make sure we watch coldzera at the beginning of next round, because he's got one of those godlike spawns. And yeah, we're ready for this. He's got the AK in hand. He knows what he has to do here. Knife out. Maybe a teammate flash over. He's going for that 1-tap. Snacks sometimes plays passively, will flash and smoke from a defensive position, but if he wants to cross over to the pit, could be in a lot of trouble. There's Snacks on your screen right now. Loss bonus almost a maximum, as you can see. The middle of your screen there, 2900 goes up to a maximum of 3400 after losing 5 rounds in a row. There's Sunny, one of the key fraggers for mousesports. Need to see him come online officially if they're going to recover from this. Currently has 9 frags, not playing bad at all. But coldzera, I can guarantee he will be going for this kill. Let's see if they want to throw flashes with it as well. Off he goes. There's the initial utility used, and there is going to be presence there. They want to challenge him here.
Oh, that your reaction was great. Oscar just absolutely obliterates Cole.
Okay, well, I really built that up in a horrible way.
Well, you know what? It just showcased the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Sunny gets Fur, who went aggressive on Catwalk, and he makes amends on Tarek as well, because 2 players in that direction, with the aggression that MIBR was showing, could have potentially opened up a chance to get toward the A site. Bomb now down on Catwalk with both fallen, although he gets robs. And Stewie left alive. Molotov goes out. Sunny's tagged by it, has to go forward, but Chris just barely gets an angle to catch out Fallen. Round should, okay, careful, still go the way of mousesports, bringing us back within 1 as Stewie was spotting Sunny, but is spotted in turn, and Chris comes over to do the deed instead.
I'm so interested to know, did Oscar get there before the smoke and then line it up and wait for the timing?
Or if he just knew the lineup.
Clearly run up to the
Well,
smoke.
sometimes what you can do, right, and this is, and you'll know about this as well, you can, okay, so he did actually get there before this. That's sick. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, that is vomit levels of sick.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you can do, even if the smoke's out, is if you know a marking on the wall,
yeah, indeed,
and you just know how to strafe with your crosshair on that marking.
Sure.
And a lot of players do that. Like, that's no surprise to you or anyone listening, I'm sure.
That's just the way he looked so convinced he was going to get that kill with the shot. Like, it was just no problem. Oh, he's there. Oh, let's going to take him down. That was kind of sick. But like I said, the double AWP setup looking much better now. When Chris and Oscar are hitting their shots, it's very difficult to break them down. coldzera here, looking towards shore. I think that was a little boost there, doing a lower B to see towards shore. That's quite a cool idea. CT sometimes have a bit of an edge, with only a tiny bit of the head showing. Take that away. Fallen waiting for an opportunity here. That should be a smoke. It's one of the deadliest angles to face as a CT, especially if you don't have the AWP or a flash to go with it. Trying to challenge that door area really isn't a good idea. So smoking it whenever you can, whenever it feels like a good time to do so, always advise. Sunny will be outside the B bomb side, so there'll be 2 players inside. They've gambled quite heavily towards B. Chris J, Robs and Sunny on that side of the map. Applies a lot of pressure towards Oscar now. Incredible AWPer. Comfortable on the A side, but if he misses one of these shots, which is quite likely, you'll see a barrage of flashbangs come in any second now. If he misses one of them, they're going to plant for short. They might have to save again. 3 players still a B for mousesports. Here are the flashes. You can see how difficult they are to handle. Smoke in front of him now as well. He's done for.
Yep. Somehow the smoke...
What?
Okay, I thought he hit that too. Sonny keeps him alive. The smoke's going to actually give him a bit of a chance here. It's still behind him. There's a timer on the play. He gets actually caught out by Fallen in the end. I thought if he waited and watched long, he might get the shot instead, but now bomb planted. Little was Oscar to do about denying that. It was more if he could maybe miraculously pull off one further kill and give them a chance. Chris already back toward B. Rops holding behind the door at long. That tells us all we need to know. It's going to go MIBR 7-5. This will be a 4-round reset against mousesports. So important to keep every weapon up. More so the KWP. And Sonny alive with $5,500 left over will be able to drop in the next round. So they'll be able to avoid catastrophe so long as they can keep these 3 guns up. Which it looks as though they will do.
There we have it. MIBR, textbook execution there. Mousesports, the gamble towards B really didn't pay off for them at all, but they do have 3 players surviving, that's fine. Here's Tarek shielding Snacks along. That's such a key battle. Everyone knows Snacks plays by those doors. Fallen hitting some very key shots as well. So there we go. There he is, the man himself. The father figure of the Brazilian scene. And Fallen's got the spawn this time. It's actually a lot better with the AWP. To go for this pick. Let's see if it works out for him. He gets his head blown off by Oscar. Let's have a look. There it is. That's what we were looking for. You flash over, use that spawn, and he's actually going to boost Tarek up here. That's a great little spot just to hold up and wait for any sort of reaction. That's what Tarek does in his defaults, is hold long, so why not? Get him up there, and he'll have a huge advantage, especially on a map like Dust 2. If you lose the first pick especially, you have to react. You need to reclaim map control. You need to either get long back in your favour or B tunnels, for example. You can't really allow MIBR to fully execute and have everything available to them. So Tarek getting up there, waiting for reaction, makes a lot of sense. And here's the action I'm talking about. Sonny, he's trying to at least get a kill back towards short, look at lower. They cannot rest on their laurels and allow a full MIBR team to make their way to a particular bomb site. He needs to try and shut them down if he can. Sick punch from Chris, but couldn't quite convert it.
No, couldn't. Fallen, I think it was just high of him, so he still had a little bit of vision, fires the shot back, and now MIBR, despite the I said they could avoid catastrophe and actually keep some money in their favor, is now struggling tremendously because it Snacks on A site, on the ramp, that has to hold off everyone heading that direction. Tarek comes out from long before there's really anything that could be done from the position of Snacks, and Rops is on the run.
Well, not really much he can do with this one, I'm afraid. He will get at least one nice kill there towards the tunnels. That's Stewie going down. But overall, another successful one for MIBR there. They are going to, at this point, reset mousesports. They had a really decent round before, but the reinvestment with grenades has left them in a compromised position. Robs will have to save the AWP here. He's currently on 3 kills, 3 deaths. Hasn't really had much to do. He's normally on the B side of the map and hasn't had a lot of action, to be honest.
I can relate.
Tarek, indeed. And looks like Tarek might be able to take him down here. A missed no-scope will confirm it. Money in the proverbial bin now. That has to be an eco for the last round, I would say, at this point. As we'll get into round number 14. They can't really justify much more than maybe P250s or CZs. They need double orbs again to finish this one off, I would say.
Fallen, looking back this time, was able to find Oscar, who was probably riding high on confidence from the previous round, but caught out in the same position. It's always an interesting battle to me. It's very intriguing. I mean, there's so many fast positions. I mean, you said it when this was picked in the video before we were on camera. You said this will be fast because these two teams, these style of AWP players, there's just so much available to it on Dust 2. You got the mid-cross, you got the A-long battle, you can rush out toward Catwalk, potentially, like, you know, Guardian used to get boosted and run there with the op. There's a lot available to them, including this, which is a push-up Catwalk late from the CTs to try and catch out the weapons, mind you, against pistols, but to catch out MIBR at long. Tarek seems to have an idea that this is happening, and that's a very, very obvious shadow.
Yep.
Foretelling.
Shadows are a thing.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, nice. There you go. So the bomb, not going to be rushed towards the site. Tarek gets another shadow cue there. Some players do forget you can't actually see your own shadow in CSGO, so it is actually quite difficult to remember how obvious it can be. So you'd think looking at the floor, like, I'm fine here, but areas like that can be a bit of an issue. For his aim and spray control is actually getting a little bit awkward here before it finishes things. Doesn't matter how many men they lose, they've got more than enough money for the last round. Doesn't really mean too much. And here we go then. Scouts are out. There's an AWP for Oscar.
Scoots are out.
Scoots are out. And it will be Oscar, 7 kills, 8 deaths. Chris J, 7. Not really what I was expecting from them on the Dust 2 CT side. 7 kills. Probably, what, 2 or 3 of them with AWPs?
Here we go.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Dack, 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 dack.
Here it comes.
It's like Duck, Duck, Goose.
You will not cross the net.
Well, you will, actually, yeah.
Yeah, you'll get over completely unscathed. So don't worry about that.
And they'll swap those weapons back naturally. Well, at least one of them to an AK. Tarek seems to want to hold his. Still firing it. You can hear it echoing off in the background.
You throw a decoy down after buying one of those. You have them scared for 20 seconds. Let's go. Do that. 5 decoys. All auto snipers.
Stewie waits down below at Cat for anyone that's going to push back out and try and find information. A bit more of a default that we're used to seeing from mousesports this time. Car, long, a swing rotation from on the A site. You could say that it's a little bit further away in the fact that it is in fact Sunny holding closer to the mid side of CT spawn. So Molotov's thrown both directions. No one's going to be walking through mid doors for at least the next 10 seconds. Good find from Oscar, considering they were waiting for that position the whole time.
Well, here we go. Recovery mode for MIBR. mousesports opening pick. Great shot from Oscar. Snacks tagged at the start, remember. Got caught crossing over to that pit. Now best off to staying in it. Only show his head. Actually opts to stand in the open. Interesting decision with that one. Maybe caught in transition. Oscar with flames around him. The nose of presence towards long. Perfect flash, but the teamwork's actually looking really good for MIBR. They're not making many mistakes here.
Tricky position for Oscar to play without anyone to support that. If he doesn't have anyone behind him, jump shot Chris twice, not likely. Fallen ready for it. And Cold already out toward long. The positions fall apart. Oscar has nowhere to hide, nothing to really work with. It's Rops, young superstar, Estonian, who's now dead.
I think he's the youngest player in the tournament.
I was wondering that, because, you know, obviously he is absolutely in the top 5 youngest, but we've had so much more younger talent coming through lately. But I had to look at the challengers, and I think you're right. I think it still is Rops. 10-5 nonetheless. MIBR in the lead.
MIBR in the lead. And we will see the second half begin. Ladies and gentlemen, mousesports with it all to play for here. Looking down the barrel of 0 and 2 here. Estonia
is an interesting story within CSGO, I suppose you could say.
Sure.
A country of about 1 million people, maybe just above that, I think, near the Lithuania area and that demographic in the world. 3 players that have actually made their way into the pro scene, despite only having 1 million as a population.
It's always had a pretty decent community. In Source especially, we had 2 or 3 teams that are actually quite good from Estonia.
So HS and FETS, by the way, just the other 2, in case you're wondering.
They've definitely got a history within CS and CSGO. Young talents coming through. It is great to see, and that's why we love CS so much. You got so much opportunities and talent coming through. Either way, we are going to have a fast A approach here, at least from Chris J, who takes a bullet in the face, I think, through the corner, so he will survive for now. 5 versus 5 at the moment, but not for long. Fallens are great today, and they will commit towards A. Cold's errors there, though, looking to block off heads. Doesn't have to with a low HP player coming in first, trying to bait in Tarek, who sat towards a goose. He might even get opportunity here, Matt. Cold's errors taking every single kill for himself. Tarek gets a little slice of the action towards the end. You can see what it means to these boys.
I'd like to change my prediction.
What did you say at the start?
I said mousesports.
You're the only one.
Listen, someone's got to do it, and I honestly think that they would have had a chance, and still maybe have a chance in this. We're not done yet by any means, but second pistol going against them is certainly going to hinder that. I think MIBR looks more drilled. Maybe Yanko certainly had something to offer to that team.
I think it is relief pressure of Fallen. Instead of him having to watch all the demos and focus on the team, he can actually play his own game now and have someone to fall back on.
Yeah, and even with Zeus, with Dead, they didn't have any sort of tactical coach.
But with Zeus,
they had a little bit, but he was still more of a manager. Sorry, what were we going to say?
Zeus, they won two majors, right? As soon as he left,
absolutely.
The drop-off was quite significant. I feel like when Yanko comes in now, there's going to be not straight away success, but they're going to look a lot better than they were.
Sometimes it takes that outside perspective.
Yeah. And if your star player like Fallen, his in-game leader, the AWPer, and now the strategist as well, it's all a little bit much.
Sometimes, it depends on the mentality, but sometimes you have an in-game leader with these great ideas who fails to identify the weaknesses, and that's where the coach can come in and say, actually, hang on, here's your bad habits you need to work on, as well as what you want to do and implement as the leader. So,
well, here we go. One flashbang and a short plant attempt coming in from mousesports here. It's a pretty common approach. Tarek, this time towards long. Fallen will be the player baited in. Are they going to commit? Maybe not. Most teams go towards short because you can get that plant on the left-hand side of the bomb site. It's actually quite easy to get up there with a few missed shots. They're going to go for the contact B play, though. I talked about it earlier. This version of Dust 2, it seems a lot easier to just walk through and try and trade out kills. Stewie, we've seen some pretty unspeakable things. That's such a great smoke by him. They're going to be so gutted with that. Like 15 seconds, boys. We'll just have to hold up, I guess.
Now throw a Molotov and ace them.
And kill yourself.
And die again inside of the Molotov. Careful, apparently you can't say that.
You know what I'm
2018. Stewie going to back away from it at this point with the MP9.
What's happened here?
I think he was a little bit discombobulated. He got shot.
His teammate was there.
I think he just responded. He got shot and he didn't know where it was from, so I'll just hold mouse one and hope for the best.
This could fall apart.
Oh, that certainly could make it fall apart. Fur going to nade himself down to 84 as he wants to get back up into the window. Bomb already planted. Thankfully, Fallen's going to take some ground in the tunnels. That will segregate the players of mousesports inside of the site because they now have to watch both sides as Rops nearly gives himself up. But he'll go with Chris Jake. They both had position to peek. Fur down, Tarek the next in line, and they're going to push out. Forget tunnels. Let's take everyone at middle. Let's get their weapons and then turn around. All we need is one player inside of the site to get the information. That's Rops, and they have to be careful not to lose him because then they're locked out at their own window. Rops gets one. They know exactly where Cold is. He's doing everything in his power to win this round. He does have a kit, but he's got no luck. Oscar gets it, and we go 11-6. Good round from mousesports. Bit of a miscommunication inside of me for Stewie.
Yeah, I guess just a moment of chaos there for a second because his teammate was at the door and obviously panicked. He had to smoke down. He assumed they wouldn't push through it, but those smokes are not force fields. A lot of players can allow that to happen sometimes, but there it is. Great stuff from mousesports. Can't take anything away from this. Oscar finishes things off. That could be a resurgence now. We'll see if they can get back into it. It was looking like a death sentence after losing the pistol, but right back into it now. Fallen and Coldzera to defend the long push from Oscar. Good grenades, actually not making their way in. Narrowly missing out there. That's unfortunate. As Sunny will actually take a lot of damage at the start of the round. I think he got tagged up by the scout of Tarek. But long control at least obtained. Tarek there on the CT ramp right now, just having a look around, trying to get up in sight. Spots one. Remember, hasn't got armor. Can't stick around if he's being shot. The aim punch will be too much, meaning his crosshair flings up in the air. If you have armor, it certainly reduces that factor. Hits another. This is getting a little bit interesting now. If he can tag one more, he has softened them up significantly for the CZs and Deagles.
Tarek trying to find better positioning so as not to be too close for comfort when they get onto the ramp. It's got Cold alongside him. Good find from Tarek. Exactly that reasoning as he drops the ball out of the hands of Snacks. It's on the ledge. I don't quite know if Tarek can see it in his position or not, but it means they've got to re-grab it. Cold, good position as Tarek did the earlier damage. He's able to collect on the Deagle. Headshot either way. Rops finally gets a kill in return. That will now allow for the plant. It's still a man advantage on the MIBR side. Okay. Problem is that they haven't picked up weapons. Fallen from down below with a CZ. This is not looking comfortable at all. 12 HP and 32 to try and hold off a retake of 4 players. They aren't going to flow into the site collectively and try and overwhelm, but Rops has now got problems. He's got to watch both angles, and Tarek and Fallen looking perfect.
What a round. Tarek, for me, stole the show there. Unbelievable. The Scouts was such a big talking point over in DreamHack Masters. So many players causing such damage. Maybe not so many kills, but it's the way it softens them up for the pistols is absolutely amazing. But that shot was anything but softening up. He completely wrecks the first player crossing over. Fallen converting it. I thought they would have a bit more hustle considering the bomb was ticking away, but very calculated as usual. And we'll go 12-6. P250's map. CZ's back in the doldrums. 13-6 looking likely. Rushing long. Be careful. Coldzera and Tarek won't miss their nades this time, I don't think. Or maybe they will, actually. They set the roof on fire.
No roof. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. It's Coldzera. It's going to spray down everyone. Tarek contributes to take it back. Cold gets all the assists. Tarek gets all the kills. 4 for him. 1 for Cold. 13 rounds for MIBR. 3 to go before they go to a 1-1 scoreline. Mousesports would then fall to 0-2, joining that of FaZe Clan. Think about that for a moment. Nico's former team in the same situation that they would be in. Kerrigan's former team in a lifelong past.
Yes, indeed.
But still remarkable. I should say former organization. I guess it's kind of confusing because it's certainly not any of the players that were on that roster with him, aside from Chris. Okay, fair enough. Listen, I caught myself as you did.
Well, mousesports need to catch themselves before they trip at this point. 13-6 down. Not looking too good. Smoke deployed at those doors now. Same boost we saw earlier in the half. Snacks this time trying to look above it. No one's going to be there though. It's quite common for players to replicate their CT positions on the T side and the defaults because they have an understanding of how CTs might play it and how they can dissect it and things that work, things that don't, timings, little cues. It makes a lot of sense to bring that over to the CT side as well and T side. As Fallen holds towards short. Looking to be flashed. They shouldn't just get a clean shot. There it is. The flash comes through, but he has got a teammate there baited in as well. This could be fantastic. Coldzera looking for multiple kills here. My goodness, he's got them, and the bomb is down. Cut off as well by the incendiary. Coldzera knows the bomb's there. It comes up on the radar once you kill the player with the bomb. And at this point, I don't see a way where MIBR lose this round.
Play from Cole to just get aggressive and make sure he gets a further kill to confirm they're getting nowhere near that bomb. Rops now the last alive, 1 versus 4. Low HP enough on Tarek. Problem is that he has to find it. Tarek does. Very quick reactions. Not at all ready for Fur to be on the doorstep behind. It's 14 now to 6. So day 2 getting close to the end. Our team's now set at either... Well, this is obvious, but listen, I gotta say it. 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. Our draw comes up after the desk segment, which follows immediately after this game, so it's not long away at this point. Everyone will find out who they play tomorrow.
Desperate times for mousesports. A couple of AKs, everyone force ball, and they're rushing along again. Fallen and Tarek have had their number, but might yield at this point and fall back. And indeed they do. Sometimes it's best to do that. Instead of just challenging and being stubborn about it, when you feel like you won't have the impact required or just get one and fall down, not really worth it. This probably is. Fur, great positioning there. Pushes in, had a teammate with him to trade out if it went wrong. Gets the kill. Might guarantee the round. Fallen, great position considering the weaponry he's up against.
Oh wait. Ooh. Somehow not collect even a leg shot based on the movement mechanics in the air. Fallen does go back out to find Oscar, however, and he's ready for the approach on the ramp. Ooh. He's so quick and so dim alert, and he knows they're there, but not ready for Snacks' Deagle. They are with the boost. Coldzera, backside of the wall, old school boost that catches out both Snacks and Sunny. Map point, MIBR.
That stuff. mousesports now. That was the last few attempts, both of them just rushing long. Hasn't really worked out for them, to be fair. The money was low. A couple of AKs, almost no grenades. Fallen getting it done there. Close range, that's more like it from him. Been missing that the last couple of months. Well, I should say the last month has looked great. Maybe the earliest start of the year. Double scout setup. 9 rounds in a row required. I don't think this is done just yet. We'll see. Sometimes the rounds that really work out. You get a Mac 10, you rush long, get your head blown off. Not what I was expecting there. The bomb goes down. Coldzera has played like an absolute savage in this particular outing. Really has looked good. 4 versus 2. I think we're coming to our logical conclusion. Perhaps not. Rops does pull one back. That's Coldzera taken care of. They're going to head towards B, and that's currently open. Stewie's going to rotate in. He's got the AK-47. Gets 1 kill. That is going to be game. But let's have a look.
Well, so far, no such luck. They're trying to go either side of the box to find him, but he's figured that out. Got the one-on-one Oscar down. Game done. Stewie confirms it with 2 Ks. And it's 16-6 for MIBR. They come back to level footing. So too, as we saw Na'Vi do in the previous game, mousesports now fall victim to yet another team and find themselves facing elimination.